Jai Shri Krishna. Today I would like to speak about a very important and powerful subject, the Sri Garuda Mahapurana. It is a large and powerful treatise spanning over thousands of verses, a very ancient one handed down to us by the great sages of ancient Bharat. This is certainly a treasure trove of wonderful information and deep knowledge about the world in the sense the entire universe and how action causes reaction. It not only discusses advanced spiritual topics, not only does it delve into the esoteric subjects of human existence, it also dives deep into the different parts of this universe that have been created by God, and it also dives deep into scientific literature regarding medicine, astronomy, and even talks in deep sense about astrology. This scripture is a must read for anyone trying to explore the vast greatness of our ancient civilization, but has the appropriate understanding of how to approach it with a spiritual mindset. I would like to begin a video series about the Sri Garuda Mahapurana, which has been requested by several people as it contains a lot of information and knowledge. There are translated versions of this in English, but this scripture, because of its beautiful verses and advanced literature, is sometimes very difficult to understand, and we might have different viewpoints on translating it. Understanding Sanskrit, having at least a basic knowledge of Sanskrit, is very important to understand the scripture, and therefore I attempt to explain to you all, as far as I know, the deep and wonderful revelations that this scripture has to offer us. We would like to begin with a prayer to Lord Mahavishnu, who is the preceptor of this universe and who has taught this scripture to sage to his Vahana, that is vehicle Garuda, after whom this entire Purana has been named. So let's begin. Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. The first verse is certainly a prayer. As with every other wonderful Sanskrit treatise, we always begin with a prayer, because that gives the entire activity of reciting the scripture an aura of an aura of spiritual vibration and a lot of positive vibration. So this means, let's begin the scripture with a prayer to Lord Narayana, who is Lord Vishnu, the creator of this universe, the foremost being. Narayanam Namaskritya, that is offering obeisances, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, including Nara and Narottama. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devi Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge, a very popular and great deity whom everyone worships in India just before studying any scripture. Even in schools, it is a very important daily activity to begin with a prayer of Devi Saraswati and then start studying, so that she blesses us with knowledge. Devi Saraswati is the embodiment of knowledge, education and wisdom. Vyasa, sage Vyasa, he was a very wonderful sage who had the knowledge of so many different things in the world. He knew everything, and in fact is considered a plenary expansion of Lord Mahavishnu himself. He divided the Vedas into 4 parts, understanding that in the Kali Yuga, people like us with Alpa Buddhi, which means low intellect, will not be able to understand the Veda if it is given in a complex and single format, and therefore it needs to be broken down into parts and further divided into different Puranas or scriptures, and Vyasa did this majestic task for us. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. And after doing all this, victory is certain. So let's understand this and consider this a path to victory, to understand human existence through the eyes of the Garuda Mahapurana. So the next verse is again a praise of Lord Vishnu and of God, not only a particular God. Here there is a misconception in our understanding of what religion is. In most religions, we always think of religions as being separate and God as being a separatist ideology of different people having different visions of God, and finally it becomes so confusing that many people go towards atheism. Not many understand that God is actually one and at the same time is many. This ideology is not understood by people, and therefore we have so many clashes. Every single community has their different ideology of God that is very good, but they also conflict, and that conflict is not necessary, and this one verse sums it up very beautifully. Om Ajamajaramanantam Jnanarupam Mahantam Shivamamalamanaadim Bhuta Dehadihinam Sakala Karanahinam Sarvabhutassthitam Tam Harimamalamayam Sarvagam Vanda Ekam. Here in India, as with every other religious nation and many more countries, we do have some communal conflict regularly. In fact, within the majority religion, that is Hinduism, regarding Shaivism, Vaishnavism and so many different forms of worship which are all so beautiful, and yet there is conflict, because that is understood, it is Kali Yuga, and there has to be conflict, as that is the main pillar of the Kali Yuga. It is conflict around which the whole world is rotating at the moment. So yes, there is a lot of communal violence around different sects of religion, also different macro religions, but this verse sums it up clearly. It brings in Lord Shiva, it brings in the different devatas, it brings in Lord Vishnu, and calls all of them together as one, and invokes the powers of everything, understanding that God is one, into a single verse, which says Ajam, which means I salute that Supreme Lord who is unborn, which means no one created God. God has been there since the very beginning, will continue to be there, and there is no end to God. There is no beginning nor an end to God. So Ajam, Ajaram, which means there is no decay in God. Jara means decay. There is no decay in God. Ajam, Ajaram, Anantam. Anantam means one who does not have an end. Ajam, Ajaram, Anantam, Jnana Rupam Mahantam. Jnana Rupa means the very embodiment of knowledge. His very form is knowledge. Jnana Rupam Mahantam, which means the great one. Ajam, Ajaram, Anantam, Jnana Rupam Mahantam, Harim, Amalam, Anadim, Bhuta Dehadihinam, which means Hari, that is Lord Vishnu. Hari has several meanings and each one of them is philosophical. Harim, Amalam, which means one who has nothing which is dirty, nothing which is considered impious, nothing which is considered malevolent. Harim, Amalam, Anadim, which means one who does not have a beginning, one who is always existing, and one who is always in the primeval and most powerful stage of being, one who never has an end, never has decay. Ajam Ajaram Anantam Jnana Rupam Mahantam Harimamalam Anadim Bhuta Dehadihinam. One who does not have an intrinsic physical proportion, and one who is eternal, one who does not have any fluctuation in his person. Ajam Ajaram Anantam Jnana Rupam Mahantam Harimamalam Anadim Bhuta Dehadihinam. And then it goes on to say Sakala Karanahinam, one who does not have any clauses, one who has his causeless mercy. Sakala Karanahinam, Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Tam, the most significant part of the verse. God is present in every single living being. Every single living being. In fact, God is present in every atom, because atom is the very basis of existence. So God is present within every atom, the Paramanu, and God is there in every single thing. He is there in every single portion of existence. He is present as the power which is present in every single atom, and even is present below the level of the atom. So God is omnipresent, and of course this is a very, very wonderful description of God. Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Tam, present in everything, everything that has to be there, everything which will be there, everything which was there. So God is there everywhere. And then it says Shivam, and then in the end it invokes Hari, which is Lord Vishnu again. Hari Mamalam Amayam Sarvagam Vanda Ekam, one who is present everywhere and at the same time travels everywhere. So God is not only present in the same place everywhere, but he also is moving from place to place almost constantly every single moment. Sarvagam Vanda Ekam. At every moment, in every direction, God pervades in every place, and he is omnipotent, omnipresent, and at most powerful. So this is the great description of God, and it does not have a particular reference to any religion. It is actually a primeval concept of understanding God. God is one and is omnipotent and omnipresent. So he's everywhere. You might call God any name, but God is one and God is the most powerful. Our Sanatana Dharma has particular methods for the worship of God which are highly scientific and highly spiritual in nature. They are very esoteric and have deep sense in them which cannot be deciphered by modern technology. Therefore, we must understand that Sanatana Dharma among all the religions is foremost and is the best method of getting salvation. Despite there being no distinction, no particular distinction in the form of God in whichever religion he is worshipped, the Sanatana Dharma is the best way of worshipping God, as it brings together the most beautiful ways of reaching the Supreme. And with this we begin the Sri Garuda Mahapurana, which will not only consider the spiritual aspects, but soon we'll dive deep into medicine, we'll dive deep into astronomy, astrology, and so many subjects the great treatise has to offer us. And when it comes to medicine, many of the modern medical students will be astonished to see the amount of knowledge that our ancient scriptures have had with regards to so many diseases modern humans are still facing today, diseases that were there in the past and diseases that might even come in the future. It has an exhausting detail of everything relating to medicine that is necessary for the modern person. It also has advanced literature regarding grammar. It gives an entire section relating to grammar, and unlike other languages, Sanskrit grammar is also deeply esoteric. It can be used in the most technical and material subjects. At the same time, it is deeply scientific and esoteric and spiritual. Therefore, it offers optimum scope for any student to understand how deep it is, and it also gives the spiritualist the arena to explore the different vibrations of sound and to embody the different powers that each single syllable in Sanskrit has to offer us. For example, is the beginning of every single language's alphabet, and these are different syllables that we all utter. K, kh, g, gh, and we have so many syllables in different languages, but there is a base for everything, and that is Sanskrit. That is the supreme language that originated from the Supreme Lord, and it is at most scientific again. The mantras that have such a powerful effect on human beings when chanted continuously are also in Sanskrit. Therefore, the Garuda Mahapurana gives an entire section relating to this as well. Just to remind you all, there are 18 Puranas, the Ashtadasha Mahapuranas, and each one of them is similar in size to the Garuda Mahapurana and offers a lot of knowledge. So Garuda Mahapurana is just the tip of the iceberg of the enormous literature that our ancient wisdom has to offer us, and that is the extent of our wisdom in the ancient past, and we ought to bring that out in the public now and to help people understand how great our civilization was and how we can try our best to help ourselves, our families, our society and our nation and the world itself to prosper and grow and move towards the right direction and grow towards the right direction at each and every stage. And it is very sad to see in the present moment that schools and different educational institutions do not coach children on what is sin, what is right and what is wrong. They just talk about mistakes very vaguely. Whereas the basis of human existence is to be understanding and to know what is right and wrong. Otherwise, the human civilization cannot prosper. We should know, we ought to know, we ought to teach the children what is right and what is wrong. We ought to educate the youth of today's world who are completely perplexed and who do not have an exact direction of what is right and wrong. We ought to let them know what is exactly right and what is exactly wrong. It is the duty of everyone in the educational sphere to let children know what is right and wrong and to label anything that is direly wrong as sin as and when necessary. But in today's modern schooling, the entire word of sin has been omitted, and the Garuda Mahapurana serves a wonderful purpose in bringing back the definition of a sin. And there's so many things, like violence is a sin, stealing is a sin, theft is a sin, lying is a sin, and torture of different animals and so on is a sin, torture of humans is a sin, treachery is a sin, of course being a traitor is a sin, and enmity towards good people is a sin. There are so many sins, and sin is an important thing that everyone must know. Sins do not serve the purpose of just making you guilty and pushing you down human existence. They serve the purpose of punishing each and every person based on their activities. And if humans do not, if the judiciary does not punish us for our misdeeds, or if the police does not punish us for our misdeeds, there is always a supreme person who is who will punish us for our misdeeds, as we are all his children, and a parent always strives to make sure that his children go on the right path, and therefore the parent, mother or father, will always dole out a good mother and father will always dole out the right punishments. And not only education institutions, it is imperative on the part of parents as well to issue appropriate guidelines for children in life and to teach them the exact meaning of what is sin, what is right and wrong, so that they're able to move themselves and propel themselves towards the right direction. With these introductory remarks, I would like to close today's video, and I would like to see you all again in the next video regarding the Garuda Mahapurana, which will of course have more information than just a few introductory remarks. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha. Jai Shri Krishna. Today I would like to speak about Abhigya.